Hey friend, welcome to Grounded, the vestibular podcast. I'm Dr. Madison Oak, aka the Vertigo Doctor. I am the vestibular physical therapist who is here to help you with all things dizziness, imbalance, and vertigo. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of vestibular disorders. Come with me as we dive headfirst into a journey to discover the mysteries of the brain, the inner ear, and the balance mechanisms that keep us grounded. Whether you've been managing dizziness for one day or 25 years, we're going to get real about what it takes to manage dizziness, handle the anxiety cycle, and thrive, not just survive, with your vestibular disorder. First, I want to remind you that this is never medical advice. Remember, this podcast is for informational purposes only and may not be the best fit for you and your personal situation. It shall not be construed as medical advice. The information and education provided here is not intended or implied to supplement or replace professional medical treatment, advice, and or diagnosis. Always check with your own physician, medical professionals, and healthcare team before trying or implementing any information found here. Hello and welcome back to Grounded. Today we have the win of the week. Today's win of the week is by Michaela. Michaela says, I got outside and walked every single day this week. I did 2 strength training videos. Love that. A bit modified, but enough to make me feel something. That is literally so perfect. I'm obsessed. I haven't gotten much sleep this week because I think my internal clock is used to my baby cluster feeding, but she's no longer doing that. My thought process used to immediately be, you slept terribly. This is going to be a dizzy day. I noticed my mindset shift a little bit though. This morning I woke up and thought, I didn't sleep well last night. I'm going to do the best I can today and let myself rest when I need to. Reframing my thoughts have been so helpful. I love this a lot. And one of the reasons I love this so much is because reframing your thoughts and mindset is such a big part of vestibular group fit. And it goes, so she's using it and using the different tactics in group. We want to use mindset shifts and reframing for many reasons. One of the biggest, if not the biggest one, being that will help you water your grass elsewhere. The grass is greener where you water it, is what we always say in vestibular group fit, and is true about life itself. So the more you can water the grass where it matters to you, like, hey, this isn't so bad and I will survive. This is not going to kill me. I'm going to be okay. I am safe. The better you will feel both short and long term. Let's get into the episode. Congratulations to Michaela.
That's why I love you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Grounded. I am really excited today. I have Connie McKenzie with me, longtime vestibular group fit member. I cannot speak today, who is doing great. And so we wanted to have her on so you can tell everyone about yourself and kind of how you got here, because that is everyone's most frequently asked question. Does this get better? And how the heck do I do it? And I can tell people all day long how, but people like to listen to people who've actually been through it. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. We would love it if you could say hi and introduce yourself.
Thank you. I am just feeling like a little kid. I'm so excited to be here. It's been a very, very long journey. I've been a group member for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really excited to, to come on and be part of this with you. And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I know it's definitely been a long journey, as it is for most people. Most people want this to be like, okay, by Thursday, this is going to be over, but that's just not the way it goes, as we know. So I would love it if you could kind of talk us through where you were 2 years ago and kind of how you got to driving long distances and doing all the things you want to do. You post fun things you do like every week.
It's really important for me to do
Mm-hmm.
that because it keeps me in a positive
Mm-hmm.
mindset and framework. And it's fun to see everybody else post what they're doing. And it's like, we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
We can all do these things.
Absolutely. I love Saturdays. It's my favorite day.
Yeah, me too. I look forward to that. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just about, looking back, like not having anything prepared, but just looking back at the
Mm-hmm.
week and thinking, yeah, I did have a win here. Like there's something that I haven't actually done before that I forgot about. So it
100%.
challenges me a little bit too. So
I love
did
that.
did you want me to just say like
Yeah, say kind of how you
where I'm
got here,
at?
where you
Okay.
were at before first,
Okay. All right.
you can recall.
So I just start by saying that I'm a 60-year-old woman. I have two grown sons who are married to two wonderfully supportive daughters-in-law who I love. I have two baby grandchildren, ages 2.5, 2.5-year-old girl and a 1.5-year-old boy.
Sweet.
And yeah, I live in southwestern Ontario in a very small town in a in the country, really. I back onto a
Mhm.
farmer's field, so that's my
That's
haven.
cool.
So how I got here, it's been um, over 18 years, I think. There
Mhm.
more than that. I think I've always had symptoms of looking back. I think I've always had some symptoms of vertigo. Um, I don't have a an official diagnosis other than I have a vestibular disorder.
Mhm.
But things like vestibular migraine, triple PD, I'm pretty sure I have POTS based on your modules going through the
Mhm.
programs and everything. I'm pretty certain I have those things. It is impossible to find somebody in this, not just my small community, but I'm just north of London, Ontario, which is
Mhm.
a larger city, which has two or three huge hospitals, all
Mhm.
kinds of doctors and all kinds
You
of
would
people,
think. Yeah.
you would think. And I've been through a lot of them,
Mhm.
but there's just nobody in here that I've been able to found that is versed in this type of condition. So, um, so in 2008, the end of 2008, it was around September, I started feeling I was at work in in a very stressful, highly toxic work environment
Mhm.
for a major utility company. And I had been working in that field for another utility company prior to that for probably around 25 years, maybe 20 years, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
I lost track. So I was in this environment and I wasn't happy, but I was staying in it for the money and
Yeah. It's a
the
job.
security. It's a job. So I was sitting there and I was getting these like weird sensations happen in my head that I didn't right off right at that time know that it was dizziness. And
Mhm.
every time I looked at the computer screen, I would feel nauseous. I should say, whenever I went to work, I felt nauseous and
Mhm.
just like I went to my doctor and he said, "Oh, there's a virus going around.
Mhm.
You don't have a fever, you don't have a sore throat, you don't have, but sometimes that's how viruses hit. So I'll take you off work for a couple days." So I went off back to work, still had symptoms, only they got worse. And this went on for a couple months.
Mhm.
And I was on and off work, and working with my doctor, and work was giving me a hard time about taking time off.
Classic.
So I woke up one morning just feeling really awful. I thought I should stay home from work. I
Mhm.
went anyways. Driving home from work, I got T-boned in a car accident by a lady that ran a red light.
Mhm.
And the car hadn't even stopped moving yet. I was still turning around, and I just felt myself say, "You shouldn't have gone into work today." Because it's so. Um, After that, I was taken by ambulance to the hospital. That was my
Mhm.
second car accident, by the way. In
Mhm.
1989, I was T-boned by a drunk driver
Oh no.
and had whiplash and everything. So, of course, I get to the hospital. They diagnose me with whiplash. They take all kinds of x-rays and everything. Send me home. I'm off work for 6 weeks.
Mhm.
So then it became a car accident issue. So
Mhm.
this is what you have. This is what we're going to treat you for. You have whiplash. Whiplash
Sure.
became whiplash affective disorder, which became because it wasn't going away. They
Mhm.
said, "Oh, well, it's post-concussion syndrome," even though I didn't ever hit
Mhm.
my head. It was all in my neck.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I went through, my doctor sent me through every kind of test imaginable. I don't know how many MRIs, I lost track, somewhere around six in the past
Mm-hmm.
several years. So I think it was
Mm.
six MRIs.
Oh
I've
my
had
gosh.
CT scans, X-rays, um, blood tests, everything under the sun, Lyme disease, um, multiple sclerosis, um,
Mm-hmm.
all the things. And my doctor, God bless him, because he wasn't trained in what to look for, just said to me, I don't know what to do with you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're going to have to go, you're going to have to try alternative therapies, and I'll back you up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into a tailspin thinking, oh my God, the doctor that I trusted can't diagnose me with anything. Like what the
Mm-hmm.
heck? He doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I went on to, well, I wrote down how many people I've seen since
Mm-hmm.
2008, and it was over 80 people that
Oh
I've
my
been
gosh.
to. So we're talking doctors, specialists, um, what else? I had like I don't know how many neurologists,
Mm.
physiotherapists, chiropractors, acupuncture, osteopath, herbalists, like major money,
Mm-hmm.
major
Yeah,
money.
it's not a joke.
And the majority of these people um, had said, yes, I can heal you, I can fix you. I'm your missing piece. This is what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up here, pay me an exorbitant amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to be cured by the end of this. And I fell for it because I think I wrote, I would have tried voodoo if it helped. Like I would try
100%.
anything. I would try anything. I prayed. I saw a priest.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting into Judaism. Like it was like whatever it
Anything.
takes, I'm gonna do it. So
Totally. That's not your fault. I get it.
I felt broken, and I went into a deep depression for 3 years
Mm-hmm.
where I was in bed most of the time. I would go to appointments and that would be it. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get up and cook. I couldn't. And the more I did that, of course, the weaker
Mm-hmm.
my body became, which totally contradicted what I should have been doing. I
That's
didn't
okay.
know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that at the time. So, yeah, I was in a really bad spot. I did find a physiotherapist that, a vestibular physiotherapist that
Mm-hmm.
taught me the tracking exercises. And
Mm-hmm.
I joined a couple Facebook groups and
Mm-hmm.
found those to be really negative, but at least it was
Yeah.
something to hang on to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Totally.
so went through that. Um, and yeah, I guess it was through one of the Facebook groups, somebody had posted your link. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, what have I got to lose? And immediately, when I started hearing you talk about, I can't even remember what the very first thing was, and a light bulb went off in my head, and it went, oh my gosh, like this is me.
Mm-hmm.
This is, and then I just started going through
Mm-hmm.
everything, all the modules, and it's like, yeah, this is what I've been waiting for.
I'm so
Um,
glad.
yes, so that's how I come to be here.
I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank
And
you.
I'm glad that it resonated. I think it can be really difficult to be in the place that you were in and have gone to so many providers, 80 plus, which unfortunately that's not uncommon, right? Like we know of a lot of people who have been to 80, 90, 100 providers and everyone's like, "Well, I don't know what to do with you." And so by the time it gets to a person like me that you find on Instagram or you find on this podcast or you find on a Facebook group, you're like, "What could she possibly have that I haven't tried?" Right? And then I tell you to do these really boring, not very sexy, not very exciting things, but I know for a fact that you are a person who has actually watched a lot of the videos in vestibular group fit. And I know a lot of people go in there and say, like, just send me what I need to do. I promise you it's in order for a reason. And if you
Mhm.
go through it and actually do all the exercises, and I can see who does and see who doesn't, and I know that Connie has, and actually do the things and implement them, you will feel better, period. You will. And so I'd love to know kind of what that looked like for you. I know I always tell everyone don't do everything at once, it's not going to help.
Mhm.
So, what were the things that you kind of started with? What did you do first?
I was excited. I was hungry for this. I was hungry. It's like, give me more, give me more.
Mhm.
So I think the first things, oh my goodness, the first thing that I did was,
It's been a while.
it has been a while. The first thing I did was I made my pie chart, my treatment pie.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, so it's not just one thing that I'm looking for here
Hmm.
that everyone has told me, it's just one missing piece. It's like, no, it's like eight different things here that I've got to coordinate and get together. So I think the treatment pie was a really important piece for me.
I love that.
Um, the movement was huge. It's like, what? I should be moving my neck. They told me I should be keeping it still all this time, that it would heal and not to aggravate things. And it's like, well, I'm supposed to
Hmm.
be moving my neck, really?
Hmm.
So the neck exercises were like turning point,
Good.
turning point. Like when I started strengthening my neck, magic happened.
Yay.
Like stuff that I couldn't do for 20 plus years, all of a sudden it's like, wow, I never thought I would be able to do fill in the blank. What so many things I never thought possible. Um, I still have symptoms. This is a
Sure.
condition that I know isn't going to go away,
Hmm.
but I am managing it to a level where I can do anything I want to do.
Yes.
I just have to make, I have to have my toolkit. I know what I have to do to
Hmm.
get through it. I do it dizzy. Who
Hmm.
cares? Because I want
Proud
to
of you.
do it. I want to
Yeah.
do it. So, yeah.
That is great. I love that. I think a lot of people get frustrated or maybe hung up on the fact that if I have to do this, I always tell people they have to make a relationship with their least favorite symptom. That's something I've been always kind of said, but like really harping on recently. But I love what you said about doing it dizzy and doing it anyway, because a lot of times people will say to me, if I could just get rid of the swaying, or just get rid of the bobbing, or just get rid of the lightheadedness, or just get rid of this one thing, even if the other symptoms were there, it would be fine. Like I would be so much better. And everyone's thing that they hate the most is different, but the thing that you hate the most is going to be the last thing to go away every single time. I see it all the time. This is all I do for work. And truly making a relationship with that symptom, putting a name on it, or saying, like, hey, I see you bobbing, not helpful, is going to be almost more helpful than anything else. And doing it with that symptom, no matter how uncomfortable it is, sure, if you're in the middle of an attack, please don't do that thing. But if you're like you're like, yeah, I do still have symptoms and it's not perfect every single day because I live with a chronic vestibular disorder, but I'm able to do these things. What mindset shifts have you put into play that have helped you do it dizzy?
What mind shifts have I put into play?
That's a hard question.
Yeah. Um, I think for me is, oh gosh, this is a hard question.
That's a hard question.
Um,
We can skip it if you want.
no, I don't want to skip it. I want to honor it. Um, like I would say like mind shifts would be working with my dizzy, anxious, dizzy cycle was probably
Hmm.
the biggest one. So when I feel anxious, because I still get anxious, it's not going
Hmm.
to go away. Because it's the brain thing.
Hmm.
It's like I tell my brain, you know what? I hear you.
Hmm.
I think I'd heard this on somebody else say this, like, or you maybe it was you who said it. I hear you, but that's not very helpful right now.
Yeah.
So I try and find a wall in a quiet area. Sometimes it's a bathroom
Hmm.
stall, and
Hmm.
just put my head, get my posture in line.
Hmm.
Breathing is like the
Hmm.
biggest thing to get some air into those lungs. Water. I'm never without, like, they're gonna, like, the joke is in my family, when I die, I'm gonna be buried with a water bottle because I carry water. Literally, I carry
I
water
love that.
everywhere, everywhere. Like, my daughter-in-law, yeah, she laughs about it too. It's like, you always have your water. I always have to have my water.
That's great.
So yeah, so I remind myself, nobody's gonna fix me.
Hmm.
I can take care of myself.
Yes.
Breathe, water, ground. I do practice Reiki, so I incorporate some of those
Hmm.
things as well.
Hmm.
And once I know that I can calm my neurological symptom, my brain, once I can calm my brain down, that I'll feel fine. And 100% of the time I do feel fine once I can calm my brain down.
A hundred
Yeah.
percent.
Yeah.
I love what you just said about no one's coming to save me. I have to do
Yeah.
this myself. I think a lot of people say if I just see the right doctor, if I just meet the right person, if I just have the right provider, if I just have this one right medication
That
or
was me.
this one thing, right? It's a hard thing, but it ultimately is up to you.
That was me for years and years. I was searching for that one person who's going to fix me, who's
Mm-hmm.
going to fix me. And then I finally realized when I came here, I'm not broken.
Mm-mm.
I'm not a broken person.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my body needs. I have to take care of myself. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
fix me. I'm going to figure out what it is that I need to get through this with the help of all the things that I've learned along the
Mm-hmm.
way from the Vestibular group that um yeah, I can deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
I figure that, this is, although it's a chronic condition, but really, when I talk to people,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has something, that
Yeah.
everybody, like,
Everyone.
whether it's diabetes, or somebody's going through grief, or a mental
Mm-hmm.
or emotional, or a broken bone, or this or
Mm-hmm.
that or the other thing. We all have something. Everybody has something. This is mine.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of mine.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I can deal with this.
I think, and some people are going to hate that I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I wasn't, as a kid, not allowed to watch princess movies,
Mhm.
Cinderella, Snow White, you name it. Not allowed in my house. And my mom used to say that it's not allowed because no one is coming to save you. There is no knight in shining armor. No boy is going to come save you, Madison. This is your life, and you are going to take care of yourself. And that was really drilled into me as a child. And that's obviously how I help people manage vestibular disorders. Like, I'm here to help you, but you have to get yourself out of this. And I think a lot of us are conditioned that someone is coming to come help us, someone's going to come save us. And when you realize that, like, okay, this is on me and I need to wake up every morning, the other thing she drilled into my head is you have to choose to be happy. And you can find joy in places and find things that bring you joy and whatever, but you have to wake up in the morning and decide that you're going to find joy today.
I
And I think
love
once
that.
you real thanks, shout out mom. I think once you realize those things, and I am by no means perfect. I'm not happy all the time, whatever. But when it kind of comes down to those things, like I make a choice about how I feel. And although not every day is perfect, sometimes I feel like crap for literally no reason. Because everyone's got something, right? Whether it's a
Mhm.
vestibular disorder, a thyroid disorder, diabetes, whatever. Sometimes you feel like crap.
Yep.
And rather than sitting and being like, I'm just going to wait for someone to come help me with this, if you're like, hey, what are the 7 things that I need to do today to support my body? You will get out of that 100 times faster and not be like, why did this happen? I'm going to kind of harbor on the why. And whether or not that is you listening, I don't know. But I think it takes a lot to admit that to yourself. And I think it can be a really hard thing to admit to yourself. Like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
kind of like self sabotaging here, but I do know a lot of people in the vestibular community tend to have that mindset. And it's not your fault. It's a frustrating thing. It sucks to be dizzy, period.
It does. And I love what you often say, when you're having that time, embrace the suck.
Mm-hmm.
And
Totally.
when I do that and I allow that, it's just so much
Mm-hmm.
more comfortable. Sounds
Yeah.
really sounds really
No, it's
opposite, but
real.
it's just to, yeah, like I know this feels like crap right now. I'm just
Mhm.
gonna have one of these days. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna get through it and I'm gonna wake up
100%.
tomorrow and we'll start again. And
Mhm.
the other thing about the mindset too that I've tried to incorporate, I think this was brought up on one of your challenges maybe is to do something that gives you joy. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I love that because every
Yeah.
day that's my goal every day. Find something
Yes.
that brings you joy. And some days, I'm telling you, it's just like a breath of fresh air when I open
Mhm.
the door or looking outside. Or
Yeah.
and some days it's like I can be really joyful. Like when I traveled across the country
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
December to see my son in Edmonton. That's like a 4.5 hour plane ride.
Mhm.
And that was hard, but
Mhm.
joy, that was, like I have big things of joy. My grandchildren bring me like
Oh, so
immense
fun.
joy. And um and that's the other, yeah, they bring me so much joy. And I think that before I found you, when I found out that my son was expecting, I was
Mhm.
so worried. I actually called my old physiotherapist and it's like,
Mhm.
you got to help me. I got to be able to lift these
Mhm.
kids and to
Mhm.
play with them and listen to them. And what can I do? And I went and she gave me a couple exercises, how to hold a
Sure.
baby. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I was really afraid that, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to hold them. I'm not going to be able to
Mhm.
play with them. And thankfully, this all happened in a very timely way.
Oh, good.
I was able to strengthen my neck, get the conditioning I need. And
Mhm.
now I'm like picking them up and throwing them all over the
Heck
place,
yeah.
playing with them, taking them for walks. I still have to rest. I still have to do all the
Sure.
things, but I never thought I'd be able to do the things that I'm doing with them. That's the
That
best.
that's so lovely. And I love that you're like, my grandkids bring me a lot of joy, but so does opening the front door sometimes. And I think we forget that opening the front door and seeing the outside is joyful, and that's something to be grateful for. Obviously, grandkids, way more fun. But
Yeah, it's a whole
I,
spectrum of joy.
yeah, totally. I'd
Yeah.
love if you told us how you got to see your grandkids. I know you did neck strengthening and all the things, but you flew a long flight, you're picking up grandkids, you obviously rest. Like, what does that look like? And I want to remind everyone before you go into this that resting is not something that people do on a regular basis, chronic
Hmm.
illness or not, and you need to, period, chronic
Hmm.
illness or not. I don't care who you are on this planet, you need to be resting likely more than you are, and you're just not listening to your body. So if that's a new thing for you because you have a chronic illness, you should have been doing it before. It's okay that you weren't. No shame. No one does
Hmm.
it. But listening to your body and resting is not a bad thing. Okay, go.
Yeah. So I forget the question,
Oh,
but
your like, question I asked you and then went into like a diatribe is that's on me. Um, is what that looked like for you to be able to travel to see your grandkids
okay.
through like what
Yeah.
prep did you do? What things do you feel like you needed to learn
Okay.
first? Because I know that was something you were really proud of. And
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you.
So my son in Edmonton doesn't have, I have grand cats.
Oh,
He has. My son that lives closer, he lives half an hour away. He's the one with
uh-huh.
the grandchildren. So I see them a lot more
Okay.
often.
Fun.
So, what I do in order to be able to do all of the things is I carve out every day, minimum half an hour after lunch.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be a set time every day, sometime between lunch and, you
Hmm.
know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I lay down and I
Hmm.
tell people I'm meditating. I often nap. I'll fall
Love it.
asleep, but I just tell people I'm meditating because it's more acceptable.
That's amazing.
So I just say, I have to do my meditation, just
Hmm.
leave me alone. My husband got me these great noise canceling headphones.
Love. You love
So
him.
I'll put, I do. So yeah, he's very supportive. I'm lucky. So I just put on a meditation, whatever I feel like listening
Hmm.
to. I'll have my glass of water,
Hmm.
handy, whatever, and I rest.
Hmm.
And that is that is a very important piece of my day, and I will not let it go. So
I
people
love it.
know this is my priority. Like if
Hmm.
you and I'll tell people too. The more I rest, the more I can do.
Hmm.
So if I pace, if we, if we go for a long walk or play or something, I just need to rest, regroup, and then
Mm-hmm.
I can do some more.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, carry on from there. So yeah, that's pretty much
Your
did I
big
answer your
thing.
question?
Yeah, I love that that's your big thing is rest. That makes me so
Priority.
happy. Um, and I love that you said the word pacing or pace because I think a lot of people say, well, I'm just exhausted by 6 o'clock. And then I
Mm,
tell everyone, like, take a quick nap or rest or just read or listen to a podcast, a funny podcast. You're not learning anything, something mindless for 30, 45 minutes in the middle of the day, and you will feel so much better in the evening. So much better.
100%. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
rest doesn't have to be late, like going to bed, putting your pajamas on,
Mm-hmm.
and going to bed. Rest can be something simple. Like I have been out, if I have a really busy day and I have
Mm-hmm.
like something to do, like when I have a travel day or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, I'll go to like a bathroom stall
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just like sometimes put on music, sometimes not if I have headphones. If I have my earpods, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but and then just stay there, close my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, deep
Mm-hmm.
breathing, round breathing,
Mm-hmm.
circular
Mm-hmm.
breathing. That's rest. And then
It is.
it's just as good as having a nap sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to do it in order to, have a quality day and be able to do the stuff that I want to do.
I
So
love that.
it's easy.
It is easy. And I think it seems difficult for a lot of people because it feels like I'm gonna take this time out and then I'm not gonna finish X task. I promise you'll get more stuff done. I can literally make you a guarantee. I'd bet money on it
Absolutely.
that you will get more done doing it this way.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Like the end of the day, sometimes I look back and see all that I've done and it's like I surprise myself, especially
Mm-hmm.
these days.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think last summer, um, I posted my win as like washing one window a day, and that was my big
Yes.
thing to get all my windows washed.
Uh-huh.
And
I
I'm
love
doing
that.
similar things in the house where I'm doing like big cleaning jobs, but compartmentalizing them into like 15 minutes a day, and then I
Mm-hmm.
stop. And by the end of the month, that whatever big task is
It's added
clean.
up.
So what if it took a month? It was,
Who
it
cares?
feels like a big win to me because I was
Mm-hmm.
able to do stuff that I haven't been able to do for years. It feels really
Mm-hmm.
good to be able to do it. So
I
yeah.
love that. What a
Mm,
hack. I like
yeah.
that a lot. I
Yeah.
like that also because honestly, after 15 minutes of like a big spring cleaning situation that you just gotta do it. You gotta move the cabinets, you gotta move your couch, like whatever. When you do that stuff, it's just boring. Like I don't want to do it all in one day. And
That's
I do not have a
true.
very big house. Like I don't want to do it in one day. So I'm gonna personally use that hack.
It's true. Like, and I could hire people to do stuff like that for me,
Sure.
but it's kind of fulfilling and it gives me a sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other thing too, I forgot to mention this, was
Mm-hmm.
one thing that has really helped me move forward is
Mm-hmm.
to find ways of helping people, to find what I
Yes.
can do to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a um, there's um, a service, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
in London, and it's like I don't know, it's like a 20-minute maybe drive for me, and
Mm-hmm.
they help. It's a homeless shelter, but they help people through the day as well, homeless people
Okay.
through the day. Um, with specifically women, there's also a men's thing. I just chose the women's one. And I wanted to be able to find a way to give back because that really
Mm-hmm.
gives me a sense of purpose and great fulfillment as well.
Totally.
So I called them a couple of years ago and I asked, and they said, well, there's specific things that we need through the day, like bottled water and grab and go snacks that we can
Mm-hmm.
give people. So I am able to go to a grocery store
Mm-hmm.
for a period of time. So I can drive. So I can drive to the grocery store, pick up the things that
Mm-hmm.
they need, deliver them to them. They meet me at the door, and then come back home.
Lovely.
I interact with a few of them while I'm there, but I don't have to stay. I'm not
Yeah.
committed to do anything. If I'm having a
Mm-hmm.
bad day, if I'm having a good day, I can stay a little bit longer. And that gives me so much purpose and fulfillment. And
Mm-hmm.
that really helps to process everything. And I'm getting really off track here, but
No.
I'm kind of on a roll. The 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 um the the other thing um that I have found too, like when I had mentioned at the beginning, when I was at this very toxic work environment space and I knew I shouldn't be there,
Mm-hmm.
I can now look back and say that, that happened, that accident happened for a reason
Mm-hmm.
to get me to where I am,
Mm-hmm.
because it eliminated a lot of toxic people from my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
90% of my friends are gone, or
Mm-hmm.
friends, I should say.
In
Like
quotes, yeah.
they weren't really.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just it just has brought me into a deeper consciousness and awareness than I didn't know was possible back then. So I can now look at this experience as having been I have a lot of gratitude for what I've been through. I've worked with a therapist, and, I mean, I'm in a whole happier place right
I
now
love
because of
that.
all of this that I've been through. So, yeah, I
I
think
love
that's
finding the joy on the other side.
finding the joy on the other side. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
something I know you know these people, group members, Jerry and Sarah have talked a lot
Hmm.
about too when they've been on this podcast of like there's actually a lot of joy to be held here and seen here and found here, and finding those things is really hard when you're dizzy, but it's also vitally important. Serving others, being helpful, like these core values to being a human almost are really hard to find when you don't feel your best. It's hard, but they'll make you feel so much better and they'll bring you joy on kind of both ends. And we talk a lot about like detoxing and non-tox and whatever from plastic to perfume, but I will say that getting rid of toxic people in your life almost has a bigger impact. It's
Huge.
such a huge thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
huge thing. Huge. Yeah, when I look back now, and yeah, I'm a completely different person in every aspect of my life than what
Mhm.
I was before then. And my life is so much better now
That makes me so
because of
happy.
everything that yeah, it's been a long haul. It's been a
Yeah.
long, it's been a long process. I remember at the beginning when I was, during that 3 year period when I was like so depressed and people were sending
Mhm.
me all kinds of information. Try this, try that, try
Mhm.
this. You just need an antidepressant, and you just need this and that and the other thing.
Mhm.
And I remember, well, I think I had one doctor tell me that if God, I said to him, why aren't I getting better? And
Mhm.
he came up to my ear and he whispered in my ear, if God is punishing you for your sins, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do to help you. And I'm like,
Excuse me.
I thought I was a good person. Like, what did I do? And I came home and I started praying and I'm like, why are you doing this to me? What did I
Mhm.
do? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it's been a crazy ride. But
Mhm.
looking back, the part of that has been a gift is seeing the fact that, that was coming from his brokenness. That
Yeah,
was through
absolutely.
whatever veil that he was seeing me
Mhm.
through. That had nothing to do with me.
Absolutely not.
You know,
Absolutely not.
it's funny now that I think about it. Really, like,
But
who
what an
does that?
insane thing to say.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
wild.
But it really, really gave me insight into
Mhm.
others people's perceptions are only, um, through whatever it is that they're going through at the time. It
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with me. It's like,
That is so true.
yeah. So
Hmm.
I
Thanks
think
for mentioning that.
the thing that I try and keep in mind is that, you can either like me or like not like me, and I don't really care either way.
Yes. I think that's a great way to be. You look, there are plenty of people who don't like me in real life, on the internet, whatever.
I can't
What are you gonna do?
imagine. I can't
Well,
imagine.
thank you, but it's true. I can't imagine people not liking you either. But you can't please them all. It's just impossible. There's a new book called The Let Them Theory by Mel
Yes, I've heard
Robbins.
about that.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's literally just let them. Let them not like you. Let them not do what you want. You can only control yourself. Let the
Because it's
doctor be
not
crappy, move
you.
on.
It
It's
has
not you.
nothing to do with you. It's
Correct.
whatever perception they or whatever
Hmm.
stuff that they're going through at the time,
Hmm.
what they're seeing. Yeah.
Totally. And
Yeah.
everyone, like you said at the beginning, everyone's going through something,
Hmm.
no matter what it is. Everyone's going through something. And all you can do is be kind and let them do them. And if
Yeah. And
people
it's
don't like
funny,
you, whatever.
when we see people, we come up to them and like, hi, how are you? And they, everyone says, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if we were really honest with each
Yeah.
other,
I'm actually not.
can you imagine? Yeah.
I'm good. How
Open
are
a
you?
Yeah, whole other can of
Yeah.
worms.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's almost always a lie. I'm good. How are you? Oh my goodness gracious. Anything else you want
Yeah.
to tell us about? And then I have some rapid fire questions.
Um, we've covered a lot of bases.
We have.
I,
I love these
um,
conversations.
yeah, I think I think I can't think of anything else offhand.
Okay,
I
well, I
think.
have two questions for you. The
Okay.
first thing is, what is your favorite thing about being a vestibular group fit member?
Um, the community of people, a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told my therapist when I first found you, it was like I felt like I was like crazy for a long time, not knowing what I had or being misdiagnosed or being sent from this, that, the other thing. And when I found your group, it was like I found my planet of people.
Oh,
And I feel like these are my people. Like this is like, it's so validating
yeah.
to have found the group. The positivity, there's not,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is some negative, like, I mean, it's not even really negative. There's honesty. And so
Yes,
people are
that's a good way
saying
of putting
how
it.
they're feeling, but there's always a turning into something positive. And the
Mm-hmm.
education that you and your team have and are able to, like, we can throw all kinds of questions at you guys. Like,
I'll always find you an answer.
sometimes I read the questions and I'm like, I can't wait to see how she's going to answer this one because this is a doozy. But you always have positive answers, even for things that you can't answer. You'll give people direction in one way or another, and I am just in awe of that. So
Thank you.
those are my favorite parts, I think. Plus the
Thank you.
exercise groups, I love the
Oh, good.
exercise
That
stuff.
makes
I
me so
love those.
happy. I
Yeah.
love all of that. Thank you so much for saying all that. And I'm glad that you found so much out of it because I think it could be such a hard thing to be like, I'm gonna try this thing that I have to pay money for and it's hard. And she's gonna make me do a lot of life changes. Because I am. If you join group, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of change. And it's hard to do those things. So I'm
Hmm.
glad you have favorite parts and that you found it so useful.
Hmm.
I'm proud
I
of
was
you.
ready. I was
You're
ready.
ready. That's you do
Yeah.
have to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people who don't stick around are not yet ready. They come back. They're not ready yet. My
Yeah.
next question for you is if you had advice for anyone kind of going through what you're going through right now, what would it be?
Um, I think the biggest thing is that you're not broken.
Mm-hmm.
You are just, and I'm not minimizing it in any way because it's a
Mm.
big life-changing
Yeah,
deal.
totally.
But just know that you have the capacity and the means to be able to work through or find a way to
Mm-hmm.
manage what you're going through, and without somebody, nobody's going to fix you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come from within. It's going to take work, but man, it gets so much better. Like you're going to be able to do so much that you don't even think possible right now.
It's
So
true.
the best is yet to come for sure.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, you are proof. You can travel, you can babysit your grandkids, you can
Go to
go to
Costco.
Costco. True. Go to a shopping mall, drive across the Canadian US border to go shop. All the things.
Hmm.
All the things. You can't,
Hmm.
I promise you, if you were listening to this, I promise you that it
And
gets better.
walking was a really hard thing for
Oh,
me. Like
walking's hard.
at the beginning, it still is. Well, I shouldn't say it's hard. I couldn't. I I had to start with one driveway down, one driveway back,
Mm-hmm.
and then two driveways, three driveways, four driveways. Now every night I walk about 2.5 to 3 kilometers every
That's hard.
night, and I can't say I enjoy the walk. So how I incorporate joy into it is I wear my headphones, I
Uh-huh.
play music, and because we live in the country,
Mm-hmm.
I when I'm going down the sidewalk, if I'm going to be swaying anyway, I dance and sing.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that so
I
much.
own it. So,
Heck yeah, that's amazing. It's like Jerry holding her hula hoop walking down the
right?
street. I love that. You guys are all amazing. I'm obsessed with you all. Truly. That makes me so
All the
happy.
older women in the group.
I love every single one of you.
We own it.
You bring
Yeah.
me joy. Well, thank you so much for being here. Anything else you want to say
Thank
before we
you.
go? Yeah, well, it's my pleasure.
Um, I guess the only other thing is that just to emphasize how grateful I
Mhm.
am. It's fun. I love the
It's my pleasure.
camaraderie. I love the realness and the honesty.
Mhm.
And I don't know where I would be had I not found this group, truthfully. I don't know where I would be because there's in Canada,
Mhm.
our healthcare system is collapsing. Who knows? We may become the 51st state soon. Like there's talk of that happening, right?
I don't know
So
if you want that.
I don't know because our healthcare here,
Mhm.
I'm kind of like weighing it, and it's not up
Mhm.
to me anyway. But I mean, the healthcare here is really collapsing, and it scares
Mhm.
me.
That's
So to
scary.
think where I would be had I not
Mhm.
found this group would be, yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it.
Well, we don't
So
have to. You're
thank
here
you.
and you're feeling better. Thank you so
Yes,
much for being
yes,
here and thanks
yes.
for being on the podcast and being
Thank
such
you.
an excellent community member.
You're so sweet. Thank you very much.
See ya.
Okay, bye.